Hi, I'm Janet, and I'm going to read to you this book called Pog. It is written by Lyn Lee, illustrated by Kim Gamble, and published by Scholastic in the year 2000. Pog is one of my favorite books, and it was one of my children's favorite books, and when I taught school, it was my students' favorite book, especially this time of year, which is October, which is why I brought my trick-or-treating pumpkin, and I thought maybe you might like to go trick-or-treating with me today. Pog is a monster, and he has a funny story to tell. I think you're going to like Pog. He's not a scary monster, but I think you might be friends with Pog by the end. Let's see. Pog lived with his mom, who was as busy as a dung beetle, and his dad, who was often away on mysterious business. There was Baby Bedlam, who didn't do much of anything yet, and Nana, who sat and talked to her pet potted plants. And there was Big Brother Vandal. Vandal looks very scary. He's kind of a mean big brother. Pog was as brave as a bathtub full of sharks. He was afraid of nothing. Well, nothing very much. It was only at bedtime when shadows played tricks on the eyes that Pog grew nervous. "Better check under the bed for children," crooned Vandal, and he softly laughed his wicked laugh. "I'm 6.5 feet tall and I'm older than I've ever been," said Pog, "and I'm not afraid of anything." Look at Pog. He's even got his toothbrush. But he was very afraid of children. Every night he checked carefully under his bed, inside the toy box, behind the door, and then he would sneak up to the closet and wrench the door open. Everybody knows that's where children like to hide most. Pog, he's looking for kids in his bedroom. He kept his nightlight on, and he pulled the covers up tight under his chin until he fell asleep. When he woke up in the morning, he bounced out of bed, full of bed bugs. He had made it through another night. Look at Pog's bedroom. And look, he's got a pumpkin too. When Pog started school, he had to walk with Vandal. "I'm 6.5 feet tall and I'm older than I've ever been, and I can walk to school by myself," Pog said to his mom. "Not yet," she smiled. There they are, walking off to school. Do you walk to school? "Pog's too little to walk by himself," crooned Vandal, and they set off for school. "I'm as brave as a bucket full of snakes," said Pog, and he stuck out his lip in a terrifying pout. "I don't need you." "What about children hiding along the way?" Vandal growled. Pog was shocked. He thought children only came out when it was dark, like a night mist or a bad dream. Uh-oh. Vandal's making him afraid. Vandal grinned his wicked grin. "They wait in the bushes until the little monster comes wandering alone," he said, "and then they leap out and pack you in a sack and drag you away, so stick with me or you'll be in trouble." Pog stuck with Vandal all day. On their way home, they heard a whimpering and a wailing and a groaning and a moaning. Pog stopped and he grabbed Vandal. "It's children!" squeaked Pog. "Children in the bushes!" "Oh, don't be silly," growled Vandal. "There's no such thing." Look at him. He's very scared. He's hiding behind his brother. Vandal parted the bushes, and there, stuck among some thorny branches, eyes wide and wet, nose red and running, and mouth open in a black high-pitched wail, was a child. Vandal went white with shock. He shook with fear, and then he fled down the road without even looking back. Look at that. Big scary Vandal just ran off, didn't he? Pog thought he must be dreaming. He stood and looked at the child. It was so small and so sad and so damp that he couldn't be afraid of it. "Who are you?" asked Pog. "What's wrong?" My name is Tom, and I'm having a bad dream, and I can't wake up," said the child. Pog thought about this. You better come home with me," he said. Look at that. There's Pog, the monster, holding hands with the little boy. He's not scared. Neither one of them are scared, are they? The family was flummoxed when Pog turned up with Tom. Mom cowered in the corner, clutching Bedlam to her chest. Dad thought Tom was a nightmare and tried to catch him in a net. Nana told Tom to get back to his pot she thought was a plant. And Vandal stood quivering and quaking and shivering and shaking. And Pog said, "He has to stay. I have to dream him away." All the people in his family were afraid of that little boy, but not Pog. Pog really was brave. Pog went to bed early that night. He didn't check under his bed, or inside the toy box, or behind the door. Instead, he told Tom to sit in the closet. Everybody knows that's where the children hide, ready to jump out and scare little monsters, explained Pog. Look at there. Just put him back in the closet so he can go home. Pog fell asleep. He dreamed of children. Children laughing in the playground and children playing in the sun. But he wasn't scared. He dreamed of Tom running home where his parents were waiting. He dreamed him back home. When Pog woke up next morning, he jumped out of bed full of bed bugs, and he opened the closet door, and Tom was gone. Pog was as brave as a barrel full of worms. "I am 6.5 feet tall and older than I've ever been," he said. And he was never, ever afraid of anything again. Well, not much. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a teddy bear that Tom left behind. I hope you enjoyed Pog. This is one of my favorite stories, and I hope you have a happy Halloween.